What's going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. This time it is Demon Bats and Scarecrow from Hot Toys, and you can't order this figure anymore at Big Bad Toy Store, but if you want other Hot Toys, then head over to bigbadtoystore.com. I'll put the link down below. It's $4 shipping and mostly no NRD, so you can cancel your order and change your mind anytime. So let's start off with a box. This is like the 10th anniversary of Hot Toys. It's a very old figure. I bought this years ago when I was trying to complete my Dark Knight trilogy lineup, which is something that I really love. This is what got me into Hot Toys collecting, if you guys don't already know. And this was one of my, I guess, grail at that time, because I was just starting. I think I bought this 2014, and I was just getting into the flow of it. I was feeling good about myself. I found Two-Face for a decent price. Back in the day, he was going for like $400. This guy is going around for $400 or $500 back in the day. Even now, I think it's still pretty expensive. But as you can see here, it's a very unique figure. Even for now, as you can see, the box is a bit unconventional. It's back to back. It's rarely that you see two figures individually. Normally they're packed together, kind of like, you know, like RoboCop or Captain America Stealth Suit, and you know, like the Steve Rogers 2-pack. But they come in, it's 10th anniversary, Batman, Demon, and Scarecrow. So very nice packaging right here. Very, how do I say this? Premium, so to speak. And this is a nicer look. So one's purple, and it is covered in styrofoam. Not styrofoam, but foam, as you can see here. So it's, again, you only see the foam, you know, surroundings in a figure, mostly on a DX. Most recently, DX15. I haven't had the Darth Maul, so I believe that is the DX as well. But as you can see here, this is the type of packaging you would see if you buy a premium, not maybe a premium, more of a custom made figure. So this is what reminds me of that. And as far as accessories, I'm gonna kind of like separate them in two pieces. You can see the pointy finger. This is mostly for Scarecrow. This is an older version of. I shot this, I believe, back in 2014. I forgot really, but it was a while back. As you can see, I used the old backdrop. This is 1080p. My camera is different. My lenses are different as well. So, and you can see his hands right there. Very nice. The usual. Nothing spectacular, because this is back in the day, and even I positioned him backwards. I have no idea why I did that. And it comes with this oval stand, which they don't do anymore. It says Scarecrow, Batman Begins. Yeah, really nice logo right there. So this is one of those figures where I think they made a bootleg of a Scarecrow, which is decent enough, to be quite honest with you. I haven't seen it firsthand, but had I not this set, I would have gone for that. Obviously, there's going to be no Demon Bats, but honestly, I mean, it's Demon Bats is just kind of like a throw-in for me, even though it's a really nice figure. So you can see here some hands that you won't find on the regular Batman Begins, which I just did a voiceover just a few hours ago. So this is it's kind of cool that I'm doing this back to back. I have no new figures, you know. I'm still waiting for the barrage of new figures that I'm waiting in the mail. So yeah, I don't import from Hong Kong, so I'm patiently waiting here and just trying to review the older figures that I do have. And one of them is this set. And here, I think it's just good timing, because we just got Joker, the quarter scale. So I guess the hype for Batman is there again, or maybe not. Maybe it completely died down. But whatever the case may be, as you can see here, there's a Batarang, kind of like a nicely paint application there. There's a little bit of damage in there compared to the typical Batarang that you would see in another oval stand, Batman Demon. So this is actually a really nice figure, in my opinion. Had it been individual, I probably would just opted for Scarecrow. But since they made a good choice here, as you can see here, I'm not going to classify this an accessory because it's a part of his costume, but I just want to highlight that his cape has this nice grime on it, some dirt, so kind of separate him from the typical Batman Begins costume. And it's really nice as well. As you can see here, it does remind you of the Batman Begins costume. I removed the but it does have that rotten texture to it. As you can see here, the bat symbol, the rubber is kind of like melting down. Really, really nice texture. I'm not sure if there's any ankle problems with this figure. I don't hear any reports that it does have. As a matter of fact, they use his boots to for those who had issues, which is like everyone, to complement the Batman Begins figure, which is MMS 155, if I'm not mistaken. You see the gauntlet. He has veins in his glove right there, so you can see there's a little bit of dust. Again, if you haven't seen, or I don't know when I'm gonna publish it, but I bought this brand new back in the day. So when I shot this is see, the dust is not as bad as I had on my Batman Begins, because I used that. I bought that used from another. But to make it look shiny like this again, you just need to use Armor All, one of those wipes. Man, like looking at it now, I just clearly appreciate more the details, the finer details of this figure, as you can see here, which is something that if you're just holding it and it has a cape, I don't really appreciate it that much. But looking at this video now, this is one of those figures where there's not a whole ton of poses that you could do. So for the most part, I got him, display them, make him stand in the corner or in my display piece, and leave him alone. So now that I'm sometimes doing these videos, or sometimes if I take them out for a picture, that's where you're gonna appreciate the finer details that Hot Toys really put into this figure. Anyone who owns this figure or owned the Batman Begins, or any Batman other than the Batfleck, knows that there's some limitations as far as posing the figure is concerned when it comes to this figure. You can see the back piece right here. So you just remove the cowl, and you get the cape, which is I suppose you can buy. The cape is really nice because it's torn up. You can see all those grimes right there. I'm not even sure, but the fabric that they use is a bit thicker, so it doesn't drape as much as I wanted it to. But I mean, I guess you could buy some custom capes, but I'm not sure if you're gonna get the same level of details as it has on this default cape that he comes with, though. So I'm not even sure if it's available out there on eBay. I know the Batman Begins does have that. So, but yeah, you can see here there's a shine and just a lot of dirt and grime, which makes it a bit more unique piece than if you would get something like this. And the way you insert the cape is, yeah, like I showed you earlier, you can see the tabs there are up, but there's tabs that you're going to insert in his shoulders. There's like 2 holes in there, which is pretty easy if you think about it. I don't know, for whatever reason I just didn't put it there. So now jumping into Scarecrow, which is the main figure that I wanted back then. I think I bought this for $450. I was crazy back then, man. I was just dead set on completing the line of the Dark Knight, that I was willing to pay. Even I had a price limit. I believe it's $500. So when I saw this on eBay, brand new, it's from Canada, and they had one of those like 10%, I believe, eBay bucks. So those are kind of money. So those eBay bucks back in the day, even now, So I just jumped on it. So I think it came out to around $450. Which is, if you think about it now, it's one Iron Man, like Mark 50 or whatever. But would you trade in Mark 50 for 2 figures like this? It's debatable. It is debatable, because Mark 50 is a beauty and just a legend on its own. But back in the day, it's a bit too expensive for me. But I jumped on it anyway. There wasn't, I believe there wasn't any bootleg version of Scarecrow when I bought this. Had there was one back in the day, I might have opted for the bootleg version. Am I happy that I got him? Sure, I already bought him, but knowing me, I would have just probably opted for that. It's a nice looking figure, honestly. You could remove the straight jacket, which is I didn't. Inside of this is a really nice piece of suit in there. So you saw the boots that he does have, this leather straps that is all over him. Beautiful figure altogether. One complaint that I have is the mask, and maybe an extra head sculpt of Cillian Murphy, but that's another topic for another day. I wish they would make a 2.0 version of this. I don't know if they will. I guess it all depends on what the response is gonna be for Two Face, because Two Face is gonna be out, I believe, sometime this year. So we'll see. It all depends, and hopefully this pan out pretty good. This is the head sculpt, which is, I'm not complaining. I think it looks pretty good, but yeah, I wish they would have made the mask not sculpted. When we, the reason for me saying that is, it looks nice. Don't get me wrong, but when you take a photo of this figure, I guess depending on, you're looking at this on a video right now, but I want it to be as realistic as possible. That's when I put that on Instagram, and you would see that it's sculpted. How hard it is to make it fabric, maybe it is really difficult. I don't know. I don't think so, to be quite honest with you. But for this price range, I was hoping that maybe if they do a 2.0, it should be like Spider-Man. It's not sculpted. It's they put a actual fabric, the fabric that they use for the body, that they would put it on the mask. Imagine Spider-Man just being plastic and the entire body is made out of the fabric. This is how I feel about this. And I know this is more intricate, as you can see in the back. There's a lot of things going on in there, and it might be difficult for an actual fabric, but I just think that that's what separates Hot Toys from other toy companies. And granting this is in their early stages, so I'm not giving them too much, I'm just not giving too hard of a hard time on them on this one. But hopefully in the 2.0 they would learn that, maybe give us a Cillian Murphy head sculpt, if ever there's a 2.0, and make this fabric. And I think that would just put this to another level, that maybe even people like myself who already has this set would even consider buying another set, or just another Scarecrow for that matter. Because if they do the same thing, I wouldn't buy it. I know they don't have me in mind when they create figures, but I'm just saying, you need to evolve. This is what, like 10 years old now, or maybe more, so they need to evolve from that. And this is the Demon Bats, which I think has really, I told you earlier when you looked at his body, really, really nice details on the body itself. But as you can see here, even the cowl, see those blood, not even blood, I don't know what that is, let's say a black blood flowing out of his mouth and his eyes. It's just really nice. You could appreciate this more in the macro shots that I have here. When you're looking at it in hand, you might not, it's still nice, don't get me wrong, but when you hold the figure, that's where it's kind of like, hey, you know what, this is rubber, I just don't want to pose it as much. But from afar, just taking pictures of it, it's really beautiful. See, there's a lot of details on his face, just grime, some just veins flowing out in and out of his face right there. Just getting a little closer here with all this finer details, like, if I take a picture of this guy, it could look like a movie still, just in a better lighting. But this is what I'm trying to say. I suppose I can still do that with Scarecrow, but the chances is gonna be a little bit difficult, because its chances are a bit smaller. That, especially if you know Hot Toys, that I would fool that person that it's a still from the movie, and that's where that the line between the actual actor and then to the figure is kind of blurred on the right situation. Of course, if you take a picture of in a camera, on a phone camera, that's not going to be the same. But I'm saying, like, I if you follow me on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. When I take some close-up shots of some figures, it's like with Thanos specifically. Oh man, that figure is great, man. It looks, if you know color correction, just blending into the background, you know what I'm talking about. It would look like a still from the movie. But look at this guy right here. It is a thing of beauty. And you know what? In a sense, I'm kind of glad that they packaged him into it, because I am a practical collector. So most likely I would not get this figure, and I would just get Scarecrow, because I would feel like, hey man, he appeared for what, like, I don't know, 2 minutes, whatever. I don't really need him, but looking back at it now, I'm glad that I do have him. You see there. Would I pay $200 for this? Probably not. But the completionist in me would probably still do it, knowing that it is out there. If they announce the Leah, as much as I don't see her being translated well into a 1/6 figure, I would still probably buy it. like the practical person in me again, I would be like, yeah, it's the Leah. Why would I need her? And then I would, like, last minute, I would convince myself that I'm trying to complete the line and I need that figure. And this is what happened to me here in Two Face. I bought another Two Face. I pre-ordered that. I bought the Joker. I think I have like 3 Jokers right now. So I don't know, man. I'm just a sucker for this Nolan trilogy right here. I watched the movie, all the trilogy, maybe 100 times, and I still get pumped up every time I see the movie. It's one of those things where it won't fade. I bought him again on 4K, even though I bought him like 4 times now in Blu-ray in a different collector's edition, the mask version, the trilogy, whatever, the one with the book and all that stuff. My feelings about this movie is not gonna change. Even though there's beautiful Marvel movies out there, and I don't know. I just still, maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but I'm just, something about this movie that just, resonates to me when it comes to collecting. And I always come back to that, because my first figure is Superman, the Christopher Reeves. But that's not the one who pushed me over the edge collecting. Ironically, I got him and I was like, okay, this is nice. Looks like a Barbie, but looks like a nice piece. I displayed it. Never really bought another figure a year later, and I scouted eBay and I saw MMS68, the Joker, and when I got that in hand, I thought it was the best thing ever. Even though looking back at it now, it was the head sculpt is terrible, but back in the day, I feel like it was the most beautiful thing ever. So here he is. As far as Demon Bats, I'm not gonna display him, and I'm just gonna put him in this stagnant pose. You know what it could do? It could raise its arms. I don't want to tear my figure really, but yeah, it has different hand expressions. But as you can see here, all you need him to do is stand there and look intimidating, and that's it. That's his job and his only job. And I'm happy with what he could do right now. But look at him. It's such a beauty of a figure. Just how the way my setup is, and is in my collection room. I have all the villains on top, and he's one of them. He's one of them. So it's just nice that I got him, Bane, Two-Face, the old Two-Face, Joker, DX11, and I bashed some Joker in between. But yep, here he is. Really nice piece right here alongside Scarecrow. And there you go, guys. This is the dual pack right here. So I thank you for watching first and foremost, and I hope if you are like me, who's a completionist and is trying to buy this figure, if you're looking for tips, hopefully you buy this new, because Scarecrow is okay. I don't think there's any issues with him whatsoever. I'm not sure about Demon Bats. Obviously, the suit is fragile, and the original Batman Begins boot is problematic. So ideally, you get this new or just close to new. If not, depending on the price as well. If I'm gonna buy this in 2000, I bought this 2014. If I'm gonna buy this 2019, it all depends on how you value this figure in your collection. Like, do you have all Dark Knight? Are you planning to complete the entire line? If not, I would say get the bootleg version of Scarecrow if it still exists. I haven't searched it on eBay, and just call it a day. Because otherwise, I think you're going to have to pay at least $400 for this, which is not, in hindsight, it's not too bad. Like I mentioned earlier, it's like a price of an Iron Man. But if I had to redo it all over again, would I still buy this? Probably not. As much as I hate to say that. I still have them. I don't intend on selling them. Maybe I do for the right price. But yeah, I would have put that. They're a little bit dated now, like I said, and there's always a possibility. There might or might not be a 2.0, so you got to keep that in mind. But that's just a tip. You can take it however you want. I'm not hating on the figure. I love it, but I'm just saying, like, just giving you guys tips right here. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you find this video informative. If you do so, please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you don't, give it a thumbs down. And follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Thank you.